Hey, what's going on everybody? How are you people doing here? Back again with another football video. So today I'm going to be doing my World Cup tier list of the best ranked teams heading into the World Cup and the lowest ranked teams heading into the World Cup. That's right. Now, just a quick disclaimer, this is an early tier list. I'm probably going to update my tier list, once the World Cup qualification completes. But for now, these are basically strictly my opinions on which team I think is the best one heading into the World Cup. That's right. So the way how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go all the way from S down to D. So anyways, let's just get into it, man. So starting off to put into the S tier list, I'm gonna go with Brazil, man, just because Brazil, they've been really good in these World Cup qualifications, and also Brazil, man, they still got a heck of a squad here, and they are also arguably the favorites to win the World Cup, so obviously I gotta put Brazil here at number 1. Number 2 here, I'm going to put Germany here. I really like Germany's chances, especially with Hansi Flick, man. Like, I definitely think Hansi Flick is gonna take Germany to at least the Final Four here at the World Cup, because as long as Hansi Flick is there for Germany, man, I don't see him stopping anytime soon. I think that Germany's squad is without a doubt going to be a really good squad at the World Cup, especially with the duo of Gnabry and Sané and also their midfield. Like, I think Germany is going to be without a doubt an unstoppable team at the World Cup. Next up on the tier list, I'm going to go with Argentina here. What can I say? Argentina, man, they are without a doubt another really good team heading into this World Cup. Obviously, this is going to be Messi's last and ever chance at trying to win a World Cup with Argentina, but Argentina, they are the past Copa America winners, so obviously I gotta put Argentina here too, just because them and Brazil, two best teams out of South America heading into this World Cup. And of course, next up on the list is gonna be France. France, they are the defending World Cup champions here, and I think that France definitely have what it takes to make another deep push at the World Cup, especially with the current squad they still have with Kanté, Mbappe, Pogba, Griezmann, especially with Benzema returning. I also think France are going to be a very unstoppable team at the World Cup. And call me biased here, but I'm going to put England here as well on this list, just because, man, you look at England here, they got another really good squad with Harry Kane, with Raheem Sterling, with Bukayo Saka, with Jadon Sancho, and with Rashford. If he's going to make the England 23 squad, I still believe that England, all the depth they have is absolutely incredible, especially their midfield, so I gotta rate England high up on this list too, just because, they were the Euro 2020 finalists, so it's only fair that I put England here on this list as well. And for my next team that I'm going to put here on this list is the Netherlands. That's right. So the reason why I put the Netherlands here on this list is because, they've been doing really well too on the international stage. They only lost one game in their last 17 games. So obviously, man, here with the Netherlands, and they also scored an impressive, I think, 49 goals in 17 games. I think that the Netherlands definitely are World Cup contenders for sure with the current squad they have. And last but not least that I'm going to put here on the S list is Belgium. That's right. Just because I still think Belgium definitely have a shot at the World Cup, and I'm wondering whether or not Hazard is going to make the squad given his recent form. Like, obviously, I would love to see the trio of Hazard, De Bruyne, and Lukaku at the World Cup. And if Hazard gets selected for Belgium's squad, then I still think Belgium are going to be able to make somewhat of a push at the World Cup and or the Final Four. So heading into the A list right now, I'm going to go with Serbia here, man. And I really like Serbia's chances. Serbia in recent years, they've really showed improvement in football, and I think the Serbian squad is definitely better compared to their 2018 World Cup squad, just because of the recent incredible emergence of Vlahovic, plus you add Mitrovic to the mix here, Kostic, Milenkovic, Savic here. Like, Serbia, they definitely have a squad and what it takes, in my opinion, to at least make it to the knockout rounds. And next up on this list here that I'm going to put is Portugal here. Now, you look at Portugal here, man, the reason why I put Portugal here on this list is because recently I feel like Portugal have been struggling against the big teams like, Belgium, Germany, and all that stuff. And one area of concern I have here for Portugal is, will Fernando Santos get his tactics right at the World Cup or no? So that's why I decided to put Portugal here on the A tier list, just because, Portugal, they look like they might have some flaws in their defense, but overall, I still think Portugal have a very solid squad. Next up on this list here that I'm going to put is obviously Switzerland here. Now, you look at Switzerland, man, they have proven that they can compete against any big team here, just because you saw what they did against France at the Euros, man. They pulled off arguably one of the biggest upsets at the Euros by upsetting the defending World Cup champions, and plus you add the form of Shaqiri, Xhaka, Seferovic, to name a few of the Swiss players here, and those players, without a doubt, they make, I think, the biggest impact for the Swiss national team, including Sommer as well. And obviously, this Switzerland team has a lot of experience here, so I definitely imagine here that they're going to make it out of the group stage here too. I think it's going to be a neck-and-neck matchup between them and Serbia to determine who's going to be able to secure that number 2 spot, just because for that number 1 spot, I think Brazil is going to secure it. And next up on my tier list here is Denmark. And with Denmark here, they've been proven to be a complete team. What I like about Denmark Denmark here is that they played together as a team, and, you know, since Denmark know how to play together as a team, even in Eriksen's absence here, I think it's safe to say here that Denmark, they are also another team that can really, you know, make a big impact at the World Cup. So next up on this list here that I'm going to put here is Senegal. Now, I like Senegal's chances here, especially given how Mane has been performing for the team, you know, like, I think that Senegal definitely are one of the favorites alongside the Netherlands to claim that #1 spot in the group here, especially for a team that just recently won the Africa Cup of Nations tournament. Like, I think Senegal definitely are going to be going into the World Cup with a lot of motivation and, you know, looking to prove a lot of doubters wrong. And my next team on this list here is going to be España here. Now, the reason why I'm putting España here on this list is because I think that we could be seeing another Spanish golden generation on the horizon, you know, especially with Ansu Fati, with Gavi, with Pedri, with Ferran Torres. I believe that in the next 2 or 3 years, these players will definitely develop into world-class players, which is going to make a big impact for Spain's national team. And my last team that I want to put here on the A list here is Croatia here. Now, the reason why I put Croatia on the A list here is because I think that as long as they have Luka Modric here, they can compete against any teams, you know, just because it just goes to show you how much of an impact Luka Modric has on Croatia's midfield and front attack. So that's why I think Croatia, they still have some pretty decent chances here. However, I think it might be kind of impossible for them to repeat their near success of the 2018 World Cup squad. Overall, I still think Croatia are a very fairly solid team. So starting here on the B list here, one team that I really want to see make it into the knockouts here would have to be Ghana here, just because I really like Ghana's chances, and they've proven to be a team that can, you know, also take on any team, especially, you know, after their upset away goals win over Nigeria here. I think that Ghana, without a doubt, are going to be a team that's going to be looking forward to repeat, you know, their 2010 World Cup near success as well, especially with the emergence of players like Thomas Partey here. Like, even though Ghana are in a pretty difficult group with Portugal, I think they have what it takes to clinch that #2 spot here in this group. So yeah, seeing Ghana make it to the knockouts would be absolutely fun. Now, looking at Japan here, they've proven to be a team that can also, you know, challenge any other team at the World Cup. Just look at what they did at the 2018 World Cup. They managed to pull off a big win over Colombia here, and they managed to make it out of the group stage. So it just goes to show you that with Japan here, and including them having a 2-0 lead over Belgium here in the knockout, so it just goes to show you, man, that you don't want to underestimate Japan. And that's why I decided to put Japan here on the B list. And so for my next team that I'm going to put here on this list here would have to be the United States here. Now, I really like the US's chances here. I think that the United States are going to be one of those teams that can, you know, definitely battle it out for that #2 spot in the group stage. Just because you look at the United States squad, it's still very young here, so obviously it's going to be a great experience opportunity for them. But I think that the more experienced this United States squad gets, I think that the better they're going to get here. But I still think that this team definitely has what it takes to make it out of the group stage. And another team I want to put here on the B list would probably have to be Mexico, as Mexico has proven in the past that they can definitely make it out of the group stage at the World Cup. You know, they have not, you know, been in that situation so far in the 21st century where they have not made it out of the group stage here. So Mexico not making it out of the group stage would be pretty crazy, but I still think they're going to definitely most likely have what it takes to make it out of the group stage. So I know I'm going to probably surprise a lot of people here, but the next team that I'm going to put here on this list would have to be Poland here, just because I think that as long as Poland have Lewandowski, they without a doubt have a chance to make it out of the World Cup group stage, because you saw what Poland did at Euro 2016, man. They have proven that they can challenge against any other teams too, and I think that Poland have a somewhat of a decent chance of challenging Mexico for that #2 spot. And my next team that I'm going to put here on this list would have to be Uruguay here, just because I think that's still given the form of Luis Suarez, and, you know, whether or not Cavani is going to be selected for the squad, and plus you add Federico Valverde here to Uruguay's midfield, like, I think Uruguay definitely have also what it takes to at least make it out of the group stage and into the knockouts. And so one other team that I'm going to put here on my B list here is going to be Cameroon here. Now, I also like Cameroon's chances here mainly because of Abu Bakr. Without a doubt, he's their best player here, and he without a doubt carried the team at the Africa Cup of Nations. But obviously Cameroon here are going to be in a very tough group with Brazil, Switzerland, and Serbia, but I still think that Cameroon are definitely a team that can challenge for that #2 spot along with Serbia and Switzerland. So in other words, I think that #2 spot is going to be anybody's for grabs. That's why I decided to add Cameroon here to the B list, just because I think that, you know, as long as Abu Bakr continues his incredible form for Cameroon, I think Cameroon will definitely be able to challenge for that, you know, #2 spot. And starting off with my C list here, I'm going to go with Canada here. Even though Canada had a very impressive, you know, World Cup qualifying campaign, I still think it's too early to say how Canada will perform at the World Cup, you know, because they haven't been performing at the World Cup for over almost, I think, 40 years now. And so the next team I'm going to put here on the list is going to be South Korea here. Now, you look at South Korea, they had a really decent World Cup qualification campaign. However, I think it's going to be a very tough challenge for South Korea to see if they can make it out of the group stage, especially since South Korea got drawn up against very competitive teams here. And next up on the list here is going to be Iran. And now you look at Iran's football team, they also had a really good qualification campaign. However, I also think Iran got drawn up in a fairly difficult group, but still Iran have proved in past World Cups that they can also, you know, put up a fight no matter which opponent they face. And let's say here that Scotland do manage to qualify here for the World Cup. I'm gonna put them at the C list here just because, you know, Scotland, they haven't played at a World Cup in a very long time. So obviously Scotland, they don't have any World Cup experience heading into the World Cup if they do manage to win against Ukraine. So that's why I put them right here at C. And one other team that I'm going to put on the C list here is going to be Costa Rica here, just because I still definitely think Costa Rica have what it takes to qualify for the World Cup, because they're going to be facing New Zealand in the playoffs, in which I think Costa Rica is going to get a win. And next up on the list here is going to be Ecuador here. Now, I look at Ecuador here, you know, they had a somewhat of a respectable World Cup qualifying campaign here, but, you know, I think they got drawn up in a very difficult group. That's why I'm putting them here on the C list. And last but not least here for the C list, I'm going to pick Qatar here. Now, I know what you're probably thinking here, but, you know, Qatar, they recently won the Asian Cup, and since they are also the host of the World Cup, I thought it was fair to put them on the C list here just because I'm interested to see how Qatar are going to perform at the World Cup. Now, no disrespect to these teams here, but the reason why I decided to add Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, Peru, and Morocco very low on the list here at the D list is because I think that those teams are going to have a very difficult campaign. In other words, I think those teams are going to have the most difficult task of seeing if they can, you know, make it out of the group stage at the World Cup, hence why I put them on the D list here. But yeah, ladies and gents, that's my early World Cup tier list, so let me know what do you think about it in the comment section below, and let me know, did I make any mistakes here? If I did, let me know as well, and I'll try to correct them in the next World Cup tier list prediction. But anyways, hope you people enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.